Welcome back to the ACT Writing Test Short Course. This is Lesson 3. If you've missed Lessons 1 or 2, you can check out the link in the description below to access the full course. In this particular lesson, we're going to be looking at the scoring of the ACT Writing Test. Specifically, we're going to look at what the examiners are looking for when they read your essay. Then we're going to look at exactly how the exams are scored. And finally, we'll take a look at the scoring rubric. So, first of all, what are the examiners looking for? Every strong ACT essay is expected to include an analysis and an evaluation of the given perspectives. Those are the three views that are given in the original prompt. You should also make sure the essay states and develops your own perspective. And you should explain the relationship between your perspective and the given perspectives, okay? And if you've watched the strategy video in Lesson 1, we discuss how you can accomplish all of this in writing your essay. Now, it's important to remember, as I've mentioned previously, your particular point of view doesn't impact your score. It doesn't matter what position you take on the controversial topic. What the examiners are looking for is whether or not that position is well supported. Okay? And so long as you've done that, you should be in good shape. All right. So how are the exams scored? First of all, every exam is read by 2 readers. And each reader then scores the essay in 4 domains. And each reader assigns a score of 1 to 6 in each of the following 4 domains. First of all, they're going to look at the ideas and the analysis that's presented in the essay. They're going to look and make sure that your ideas are well developed and well supported. They're going to look at the organization of the essay. And finally, they're going to look at the language use. All right? And so in each of those 4 domains, the readers will provide a score of 1 to 6. Okay, and then those 2 scores are added together. So the final essay is scored in each of the 4 domains on a scale of 2 to 12. All right, so the student ultimately receives 5 scores. You're going to get 4 individual domain scores between 2 and 12, one for each of those 4 domains. And then you're going to get an overall subject level score, which is the average of the 4 domain scores between 2 and 12. All right, and finally, if the reader's scores differ by more than 1, a 3rd reader reads the essay. Okay, and that's how the exams are scored. All right, so let's look in detail then at each of these 4 individual domains. The first domain we'll look at is this ideas and analysis. So in this particular scoring category, again, the score will be between 1 and 6 for each of the individual readers, between 2 and 12 when you combine them. The readers are going to be looking to make sure that you've presented relevant ideas and that you've sufficiently engaged each of the perspectives originally presented in the writing prompt. So did you examine the assumptions within those perspectives, and have you considered the implications of whatever is stated in each of the views? All right. They're also going to look to make sure that your ideas are clearly expressed. So that's going to be where you're going to need to make sure you have a nice, strong, clear thesis statement and topic sentences for each of your body paragraphs. And in order to make sure that you get a good score on the ideas and analysis domain, you want to make sure that you understand the question. This is why in the strategy video that I presented, I strongly suggest before you dive in and start writing or even analyzing the various perspectives, you take a minute after reading the original prompt. Before you look at the individual views, you make sure you identify very clearly what the question is that you're supposed to address, because it's very easy to go off on a tangent and you can structure a very good, strong essay, but if you aren't addressing the fundamental question that they want you to address, your ideas and analysis score isn't going to be very good. All right, so that's the ideas and analysis domain. All right, the second domain that they're going to be looking at, as I mentioned before, is development and support. So this is where the readers are going to look to see that you've discussed all of the ideas, that you offer rationale for your point of view, all right, that you illustrate through very specific concrete examples to support your point of view and to discredit the counter arguments. All right. You need to make sure in your essay you acknowledge and recognize the complications of whatever the controversial topic is. And you want to make sure you avoid being overly simplistic or making overly general claims, which will result in a lower score for your development and support domain. All right. So basically, you want to make sure that you are as specific and as concrete as possible throughout the essay. And you should have seen that in lesson 2, where I showed you how I would have approached the experiential education essay topic. All right. The third domain that we're going to discuss is organization. So this very easily is where the readers are going to look to make sure that your essay has some logical progression and that you've developed your train of thought. You use effective transitions between the body paragraphs, and your organization overall demonstrates you understand the relationship between the ideas. All right. I'll have a future lesson discussing some organizational strategies for persuasive essays to help you tackle this particular domain. All right. And then the next domain that we're going to discuss, and the final domain that is that of language use. So basically, this is where the readers are going to look for an appropriate tone, that you've set the appropriate tone that's respectful and convincing in your persuasive essay. You want to make sure you use appropriate vocabulary. And of course, you want to avoid any grammar mistakes, so punctuation and spelling. And very specifically, too, you want to make sure you've used interesting syntax. So that is, are your sentences varied in length and in structure, but also that they should be very clear. You certainly can't be persuasive if your ideas aren't presented clearly. All right? So that's where the examiners will be looking at your language use in this particular domain. All right, so finally, then, just to summarize again, the 4 domains that you need to keep in mind when you are writing your essay and when you're reviewing it is the examiners are going to be looking for your ideas and analysis, how well your ideas are developed and supported. They're going to look at the overall organization of your essay. And finally, they're going to be looking at the language use within the essay. That brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope you found it useful, and I wish you all the best on your ACT exam. Please do look at the links in the description below so that you don't miss the other lessons in this short course.